Do you want to blast on WoW's most popular and explosive spec but don't know where to start? We got you, fam. In this video I will teach you what talents to get in Mythic Plus and raids, how the spec works and what rotation to use, and you will be cruising on Ret Paladin like it's the bicycle you always knew how to ride.
Well, what color's your brigade?
The best hero talents to use right now will be Templar, and our builds and rotations will focus on this specific playstyle. So to start you off, this is the Mythic Plus talent build that you want to use. It will focus on a lot of AoE damage with Divine Storm while retaining some boss damage through the use of Execution Sentence. Boss damage, or how you may hear about it in another way, priority damage, is almost more important than raw AoE damage, since in dungeons, the biggest threats will always be bosses and big bad lieutenants. In raids, you will use this build instead for pure single target boss damage. This leans heavier into your single target abilities to further emphasize your power as a boss smasher with more haste for every crit you do. Lastly, if you are a delve enjoyer or simply want your weekly vaults filled up, use these talents for the delves. These are a good mix of burst AoE damage as well as decent boss damage to handle any and all delve challenges. You can get all of these talents from the description by copying the import link and pasting it inside of your game. Also, you can get more details about the reasoning but also functionality of these builds by checking out Bolas's guide on Wowhead. All of our information is derived from his guides and he does amazing work at educating aspiring Ret Paladins. How does Ret even work? Before we get into the details, these videos are supported and made possible by the love of our Patreons, who also get early access to our videos, player profiles, and week auras, alongside bloopers from our escapades as camera clowns. If you find this video useful and want to help us make more of these, go to patreon.com/Marcelian&Online or find the link in the description. We appreciate any and all support, so thank you very much. Retribution is not a difficult spec, but it is easy to make mistakes if you don't understand a few subtle things. Fundamentally, it is a spec that revolves around you building and spending holy power, which is the paladin-specific resource, by using an assortment of spells that are better than others and should normally be prioritized. Blade of Justice is usually the first one you use to apply the expurgation dot. Judgment and Hammer of Wrath are your other abilities, while your basic melee swings will generate 1 holy power every 2 attacks, but you also have 2 offensive cooldowns that build holy power. Wake of Ashes gives you 3 and does 2 more things with Dispatch's build, so keep that in mind because it will be relevant in a minute. And Divine Toll is your other one, which gives you holy power based on the number of enemies. In AoE, this fires 5 judgments on 5 different targets, giving you 2 holy power for each one, essentially filling your holy bar twice if it would have been possible. While in single target, it just gives you the 2, since baseline judgment for Ret generates 2 holy powers because of your talent. Additionally, Divine Toll will fire a judgment every 2 seconds for 15 seconds after you activate it. This happens passively, so you can find yourself wasting holy power if you are not careful. But we will help you with that, so don't worry. Your tier set dispatch focuses heavily on your currently selected hero talent, which in our case is Templar, and the one we will discuss in this video. Your 2 set will make your passive Empyrean hammers deal more damage, but more importantly, when they crit, they will give you a stack of Light's Deliverance. Light's Deliverance is a buff that stacks every time your Empyrean hammer hits an enemy, and at 60 stacks, it gets consumed to give you a free cast of Light's Hammer. The 4-set bonus makes the hammer stronger and able to be cast a second time after you have used Wake of Ashes. And if you haven't played Templar yet, basically your Wake of Ashes transforms into Light's Hammer after you have casted it, giving you the ability to cast that big damage Light's Hammer. The 4-set just lets you cast it twice, before it reverts to Wake of Ashes, which it would be on cooldown at that point in time. But how should you even play it? Well, the opener you want to have in single target starts with Blade of Justice, Divine Toll, Divine Hammer, Execution Sentence, Wake of Ashes, and Hammer of Light. Once you are past this point, you want to optimize your holy power generation and expenditure efficiently. For that, you want to always make sure to cast Divine Hammer when it is available, and you also have abilities to quickly generate holy power after it, so you can immediately extend it by spending that holy power. Execution Sentence always on cooldown. Because of your hero talents and tier sets, you will get and cast a lot of Hammers of Light, which are next in terms of priority. Always use Final Verdict when you just reached 5 holy power, and keep up the expurgation dot on your enemies with Blade of Justice. Use Wake of Ashes on cooldown, which will naturally align with Execution Sentence. With the builds we recommend, Wake of Ashes will activate your Wings or Avenging Wrath, but also your Templar hero talents, since it transforms into Light's Hammer after it has been pressed, like I mentioned earlier. Use Divine Toll when it becomes available as well, since it will line up with every other use of Wake of Ashes and Execution Sentence. The next more important thing is Final Verdict, either when you reach 4 holy power or as soon as you can when Divine Hammer is up, so you can extend it. After this, use Judgment and Blade of Justice to build holy power, and if nothing so far is available to cast, use Final Verdict or Hammer of Wrath instead. When you start combat in an AoE scenario, the opener is almost identical. You want to start with Blade of Justice still, but follow it up with Judgment and Divine Hammer instead. Use Execution Sentence, Wake of Ashes, and Hammer of Light, and only after do you use Divine Toll, since in AoE you generate maximum holy power when you press it anyway, so you want to make sure you dump that holy power just before. Past your opener, you want to always prioritize Divine Hammer and Execution Sentence, while not delaying Hammer of Light. Use Divine Storm when you get Empyrean Hammer as you proc. If you get a Light's Deliverance proc of a Hammer cast, use it after you cleared your Empyrean power. Use Divine Storm when you are at 5 holy power, so you never overcap or overgenerate holy power accidentally. Next in terms of importance is your Wake of Ashes, which, like before, should align with your Execution Sentence. Divine Toll is next in the priority list, with Divine Storm as your consumer when you reach 4 holy power or it's usable and Divine Hammer is already rolling. Build your holy power with Judgment first and foremost, Blade of Justice next in terms of strength, and if all else is on cooldown and you have holy power, use Divine Storm. Otherwise, Hammer of Wrath if it is available. Now you know how to do damage and not waste your spells. But damage isn't everything Ret can do, and you have so many other tricks up your sleeves that will make your party and raid members absolutely love you. You already know these abilities, so I will just remind you that Freedom should be cast on a friend that currently has a slow on them, a root of any kind, and it will break that effect on them and you at the same time. Always cast this on someone else, even if it's just you who needs it. You have a free freedom, so why not take advantage? A similar value is Blessing of Sacrifice. Cast it on a friendly, and 30% of the damage they take, you take instead. Don't worry, you are 90% of the time way tankier. Maybe 100% even. You can pair this up with Shield of Vengeance to absorb that damage and convert it into your own damage. I would avoid putting it on tanks. It might not kill you, but you will do more good saving a DPS or a healer rather than a tank that has endless ways of surviving anyway. You should use Cleanse whenever there is a poison or disease, likely poison in this patch, affecting a group member. Yeah, healers can also do it, but their mana is way more precious than yours and every little bit helps. Lay on Hands also saves lives every time it is used, and lastly, don't forget, your Divine Shield is the strongest defensive in the game, but there are creative ways to use it. Most of the time, you won't need it to survive if you are careful, and you can use it to soak mechanics or deny them completely from happening. If you want to see me play Ret and many other specs live, check our stream on twitch.tv/Marcelian&Online. You can ask me questions about Ret or WoW or my mom. She loves Ret and is proud of Ret and thinks Ret has made the correct career decisions in accordance with its academic performance. If you are gearing and are looking for the best stats to farm, trinkets, and other such things, the absolute best way to know what your correct choices are will always be to sim your character on raidbots.com. That means stopping playing Ret for a few minutes, which can be a painful experience. But luckily, if you just go for eye level first, followed by mastery and then crit, you'll be fine for the most part. Haste is almost as valuable as well, and if you aim for a mix of all of these, you will be fine. Only noteworthy mention is that in AoE, crit will be stronger and something you can get more out of if your main activity is dungeons. All of this should get you going with Ret Paladin in 11.2 ASAP. There's of course way more to dive into if you end up falling in love with the spec and want to improve. For that, we included links in the description to the Wowhead guide written by Bolas and the Hammer of Wrath Discord, where you can find in-depth information about your talents, more explanation on your rotation, and a lot of Paladin goodness all around. One more thing we have for you to kick off 11.2 with a bang, and that is a list of dope add-ons. Definitely something you may have seen in this video and our streams. Click this video right here for our full add-on list for Season 3.